Not every villain is born in darkness. Sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones who used to be heroes, until something snapped, or something changed them forever. From Marvel to DC, comic history is packed with champions who crossed the line. Some were corrupted, some were broken, others decided the ends justified anything. Today we are counting down 10 more heroes who turned into villains, the exact moment they turned, what they did after, and why the world was never the same. At number 10 we have the Maestro, the Hulk. Imagine if the strongest hero on earth outlived everyone and stopped pretending he was the good guy. In a post-apocalyptic future, the Hulk isn't humanity's last defender. He is its last dictator. This story drops you into a world where a brutal, older Hulk rules as the Maestro, sitting on the bones of a ruined earth with a mind sharp enough to plan and a body unstoppable enough to enforce it. What makes Maestro terrifying isn't just the power, it's the logic. This is Hulk after years of survival and loss, a hero who decides that order matters more than freedom, and fear works better than hope. It's the nightmare outcome of immortality, strength without compassion. At number 9 we have Archangel, or the Horseman of Death. When your gift is flight and someone turns it into a weapon, what comes back down might not be you anymore. X-Factor faces Apocalypse, and the turning point lands like a horror reveal. Apocalypse unveils his horseman Death, and it's Warren Worthington. The hero known as Angel is no longer a teammate in trouble. He's an engineered executioner with razor wings and a rewritten identity. From here, the tragedy isn't just Angel got transformed. It's that the transformation comes packaged with obedience, brutality, and a new purpose. Hurt the people he once fought beside. This is one of Marvel's cleanest examples of a hero becoming a villain through forced rebirth, where saving him means fighting him. At number 8 we have the Beast, Hank McCoy. Beast always believed intelligence made him better. Then he started acting like the world owed him permission. This is the issue where the mask slips. Beast is tied to a secret black site prison, off-the-books experimentation, and cold operational decisions that treat living beings like variables. It's not a misunderstanding, it's a system. And that's what makes the turn villainous. He isn't losing control, he's choosing control, choosing secrecy, manipulation, and outcomes over ethics. The danger isn't that the Beast becomes a monster overnight. It's that he becomes the kind of villain who still thinks he's the hero. At number 7 we have Hank Pym, the Yellow Jacket. The moment your teammates have to stop you, you're not having a bad day anymore. You're the problem. Hank Pym hits a collapse point so public and so ugly, it becomes part of his permanent legacy. In this era, his paranoia, insecurity, and spiraling decisions culminate in behavior the story treats as criminal and dangerous, not heroic. It's a villain turn because the line crossed isn't he messed up. It's he becomes someone who the Avengers can't trust, someone willing to force outcomes, stage situations, and lash out in ways that endanger the people closest to him. The tragedy is that it's not a cosmic curse. It's a human collapse playing out inside a superhero costume. At number 6 we have the Red Lantern Supergirl. What happens when a symbol of hope gets handed a ring powered by rage? Kara's turning point doesn't come from a grand evil plan. It comes from fury so intense it becomes magnetic, drawing a Red Lantern ring to her. The ring doesn't ask her to be better. It tells her she belongs. Once that ring chooses her, hero stops being the default setting. Red Lantern power pushes her into a punishment-first mindset, where anger drives the decisions and restraint gets burnt away. That's why it counts. It's not just power-up, it's identity shift. Kara becoming an instrument of rage. At number 5 we have Namor, the Cabal formation. Namor didn't fall because he was weak. He fell because he decided morality was optional in a crisis. The Illuminati hesitate, they argue, they break, and Namor does what they don't. He forms a new team built for one purpose, destroying other worlds to save their own. This is where Protector of Atlantis becomes something much darker, a leader who treats annihilation as policy. The villainy is explicit. Namor isn't confused, controlled, or tricked. He recruits monsters because he needs allies who can do the unthinkable without flinching. And once the Cabal is formed, the moral descent becomes operational. It's genocide as strategy, dressed up as responsibility. At number 4, we have Cyclops, the Phoenix Tyrant. The leader who built his life on discipline becomes the man who proves discipline can break. The Phoenix Force warps everything, and in this issue it turns catastrophic. Cyclops overpowers Professor X and kills him when Xavier stands in his way. Even in stories where influence is a factor, the act is the act, and the fallout brands Scott as something the world can't excuse. After that, Cyclops isn't the hard-edged hero making calls. He becomes the warning label, a revolutionary mindset amplified by godlike power, where opposition becomes something to crush instead of convince. It's the moment an ideal becomes tyranny. At number 3, we have Superboy Prime, the hero who decided reality owed him. He wanted a perfect world. Then he started killing anyone who didn't fit inside it. This is the point where the story stops treating Superboy Prime as a misguided survivor and locks him in as a villain. Kal-El, the Earth 2 Superman, dies at Superboy Prime's hands. It's not collateral damage. It's the moment the hero becomes a murderer in the heart of a crisis. And what makes Prime frightening is the entitlement behind it. He doesn't just lash out. He judges. He decides who deserves to exist, who deserves to win, and who deserves to be erased. That's not heroism twisted. That's villain ideology wearing a cape. At number 2, we have the Maker, or the ultimate Reed Richards. What if Mr. Fantastic didn't just lose his way? What if he decided morality was inefficient? This is where Reed Richards stops being a hero name and becomes a villain title, the Maker. The shift isn't theatrical, it's surgical. Reed doesn't fall into evil because he's angry. He falls because he becomes convinced the world should be engineered, controlled, and corrected by him. That's what makes this one of the elite tier villain origins. A Reed Richards who keeps the genius, loses the empathy, and turns saving people into optimizing humanity. When the smartest man in the room decides free will is a design flaw, you don't get a hero with problems. You get a villain with a blueprint. And finally, at number 1, we have the Batman who laughs. If Batman ever became the Joker, he wouldn't just be insane. He would be unstoppable. This is the nightmare. Batman wins, and the victory poisons him, literally. The Batman who laughs is born when Bruce is contaminated by the Joker's madness, turning discipline into predation and strategy into cruelty. And the reason he's the number 1 pick is simple. He's not Batman but evil. He's Batman weaponized by Joker logic. The worst impulses, no restraint, no mercy, paired with the best tools, preparation, fear tactics, and absolute competence. It's the ultimate horror fusion, the hero who knew every way to stop monsters becoming one. When heroes fall, the world doesn't just lose a protector. It gains a threat that knows exactly where the world is fragile. That's what makes these turns so unforgettable. Villains who used to be heroes don't just bring power, they bring betrayal, and betrayal hits harder than any punch. Because the world didn't just fear them, it once believed in them. Who did we miss for part 2? Which turn was the most tragic, and which one was the most unforgivable? Drop your pick in the comments, and subscribe for more Superhero Explained, because every legend, no matter how bright, casts a shadow.